Last very fast runs played with fire by the soloist tonight, Leila Josefowicz, in the closing bars of Bruch's first violin concerto, and Leela performing tonight with the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic under its music director Gerard Schwartz, and the Albert Hall packed tonight, which is testament to just how well loved this piece is. Leila Josefowicz, one of the leading violinists in the world. She's performed with all sorts of famous orchestras, but she was also the face of a perfume campaign. And today she's wearing a dress that she bought in Thailand for what she described as an amazing shop called Jim Thompson, which sells everything possible in silk. We have a text that's come in that says, as a fully paid up Scouser, I'd like to nominate Leela as an honorary Liverpudlian. What class, poise, a superlative playing. Leila Josefowicz, after this, is going to be setting off to Oregon to play some of her favourite chamber works, Schubert's Cello Quintet and Schoenberg's Verklärte Nacht. Then back to the Salzburg Festival in early August for Mendelssohn's Violin Concerto. And she did add at that point that she might actually know what time zone she's in by then. Email here from Robert Page in Loughton in Essex. Well done to the Proms Authority for putting on Bruch's Violin Concerto and for the BBC for broadcasting it. You'll be pleasing a hell of a lot of viewers tonight. And certainly that is true. It'd be nice to hear the other two concertos that Max Bruch wrote too at the Proms one day. So now we have an interval of 20 minutes and we're going to be catching up to see who's in the house tonight, and also talking to Leela once she's had time to catch her breath in her dressing room tonight. She's going to be talking to Susie Klein. We've had lots of emails. If you would like to pop a question to her, you can email proms@bbc.co.uk or you can text 83111. You might also like to get a pen and paper handy because we're going to give you the last question in our viewers competition tonight. With me still are Catherine Oswald and James Murphy. What did you think of that performance?
I have to eat my words because there was me saying all the meat was in the third part, and she brought so much to the first two movements. I felt in the first movement, which even Bruch himself described as just a prelude, she was asking questions of the piece all the time, not just skating through it at all as some virtuoso players might do. Amazing. And I also loved the way she was channeling the whole gypsy aspect in her costume, I thought, but also several times I thought she was going to limbo dance under the violin. Yeah. Amazing performer.
Absolutely. I mean, and clearly utterly committed performance, wasn't she? I mean, you could see in her face, her expression, she was right there in the heart of the piece all the way through.
Now, those facial expressions, you see, seeing it very close up on camera like that, I find that quite unnerving. Actually, it doesn't bother you?
Not at all. I mean, I have to say, I love the humanity in this performance. There were a couple of them she got through tricky bits and she was like, yes! You could see it in her face, like a human being, not just some robot who can play immaculately. I really like that.
I think the piece is so much, it has to come from the heart in order to capture the vitality of the original. And she really, really did that tonight. I thought it was great.
And I suppose actually with a piece that is so well known, you've got to,
You've got to give it something special, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She certainly is special. She's come up through such a sort of strange route. I mean, she was very, very young when she first played that piece, and then she was launched on American television, I think,
just at the age of 16, I think, 16 or 17. An incredible career.
And a sort of modelling career, and then
right.
to be taken seriously as a performer.
Yes.
She's navigated that whole path extremely well, where many people could easily fall by the wayside, having been exposed to things so early. She's kept her level incredibly well.
I think you can see why, though, in her performance tonight. It's because the music is the most important thing. She's been given this gift to communicate the music through the playing of the violin, and that's the thing that is most important to her, rather than the glamour and the other things that could, for a young, beautiful player such as Leela herself, it could have been so easy for her to go down a commercial route, but it's the music itself that's most important.
I've read a lot where she says that her personal life is really important to her. She doesn't lose sight of that. She's not in a practice room 24/7. There's a real person inside that, and that was just really projected tonight.
Doesn't she play baseball or something?
Volleyball.
Yeah, volleyball. I believe. And I heard once that she wears boxing gloves to do so to protect her fingers.
Yeah.
But that's not the interesting fact. The fact is that she plays volleyball. She has a life, and I think if you're going to be a musician in the modern world, you've got to live in the modern world as well, and she evidently does that.
And actually bring something to the music, I suppose, have something to say through the music.
Absolutely.
We'll be talking to her a little bit later on. We're going to go down to the dressing room. As I say, if you would like to ask her a question, all those addresses, proms@bbc.co.uk or text 83111. What about violin concertos in general, Catherine? I mean, your job at Faber is to kind of sift through things. Are people still writing violin concertos?
Well, funnily enough, later on in the prom season, Thomas Addos, who's actually one of our house composers, is writing is in the process of completing his violin concerto at the moment, which is being premiered in Berlin and 2 days later being performed at the prom. So absolutely, very much so. It's such an important medium, I think, for a composer. It's such an expressive instrument. It obviously has an incredible range. Through that instrument, I think a composer can find many, many things to say.
Many students still writing at the Royal College?
I don't know if they're doing violin concertos. I imagine they are. They've got quite ambition. I really think they do. I hope the viewers at home, we've talked about that being a favourite concerto. I hope they'll go and try out other concertos as well now. There's the John Carigliano concerto coming to the proms next week, and that had a sneak preview of that fantastic, groovy piece as well. There is a lot of life left in the violin concerto.
That just happens to be where they can win tickets for that, July the 28th, and that's all in the competition tonight. Yes, but it's amazing, isn't it, that the violin is quite a small instrument to actually cut through an orchestra like that. And it's the one thing the one instrument that has survived this whole concerto thing, because cello concertos, you're into all sorts of muddy water with that kind of range of an instrument, aren't you? But the violin continues to inspire people.
It's golden, refulgent sound that these world-class players have. It's just it's like a singing voice. It's beautiful. I mean, it's gold is the colour. I just kept coming to my eyes listening to that.
Absolutely. Well, look, let's go down to Leela's dressing room. She's recovered and she's talking to Susie Klein. Susie.
Thanks, Verity. Leela, huge congratulations. That was a stunningly expressive performance.
Thank you.
We have a very vocal audience who have been emailing and texting in immediately after the performance, so I'm going to get straight to a text, which is from somebody called Ray Taylor in Barnsley, and he asks, you were obviously living every second of that wonderful performance. Can you possibly describe what it feels like? Big question to start with.
It's just, you feel like you're not really inside of your body, really. You have this vision and this image of what you want in your head, and you just, you do your damnedest to get that across, just take a flying leap and,
So no
let it pour out.
Time passing or anything, it's just...
No, I mean, on a good night, like, I felt really great out there, and it's not hard to somehow just let it pour out.
Now that Bruch concerto is always kind of, on any top list of classical pieces, it's always one of the favourites. How do you take something that's that well known and make it your performance?
I basically forget that it's well known. I mean, of course I know that it's well known, but I just approach it as if I'm playing a 21st century work, or I just look at it exactly the same and think, what is the message in the music? What will I do to get that across?
Do you like to take risks with those very kind of core pieces of repertoire do you feel that you can pull at the edges of what's accepted as a performance?
I feel like I'm stretching out the most I possibly can make of every piece. I mean, and it's fun to put all of myself into a standard work as well, because usually it's, I guess, pretty fresh.
Now, are you one of those performers that likes to listen to every possible recording that you can, or
God,
do you go to
no.
something completely on your
thank
own?
you.
It's just Leela in this. There's no one else.
I mean, I respect everyone out there. It's not that. It's just that I don't feel like I need to hear anything else. I mean, I wouldn't for like listening pleasure, because I know exactly what I want, and I'm lucky if I feel like I did as well as I wanted to do with it. And yeah, but I mean, of course, I respect everyone else. It's not that.
Now, you took up the violin aged 3, and I understand you made your Carnegie Hall debut at the very tender age of 16. Was there ever any other choice for you apart from being a violinist, or was it?
I knew that was pretty much it. I mean, I was ready to put the dedication in, the daily practice, etc. And I think the thing that really made the difference was I realized that, this work I'm doing is actually paying off for me. It's not just, work for the work's sake. So it helped me to be further and further encouraged.
Now, you've worked very closely with contemporary composers like John Adams, for instance.
Sure.
Do you think that kind of element of working closely with contemporary living composers on living music is a really necessary thing, part of being a performer to you?
It's probably shaped everything that I do now. Just to feel like when you know where sources come from, you understand that much more about creativity, and sort of helps me form the mindset that I need to approach every piece of music. And in some ways it's funny. I mean, even the classics are, in the right kind of mentality, mindset, will always be completely contemporary. It just depends how you kind of look at things, and it's definitely helped my perspective on making music, for sure.
Now, a difficult question here, but I have an email from somebody called Roger Peters. If you were left on a desert island and could have only one piece of music with you, what would it be?
Oh no.
It's tough.
I would probably listen to the last Schubert String Quartet, number 15. I would probably have that one.
Good.
Okay, I was about to name another one, but I'm not allowed to.
You're allowed to have two. Go on, you can give us a second one.
Musa Solemnis.
Oh, very excellent choice.
Probably. That's a hard question.
I know. Well, let's hope you don't get left on the desert island with only those two pieces. Leela, it was really lovely to talk to you, and thank you so much for that great performance.
Thank you
Back
so
to you,
much.
Verishi.
Thanks, Susie. I have to say also we've had texts in tonight asking for Leela's hand in marriage. I'm not surprised. Time now for the viewers' competition. This is the Prom's Sudoku, and the prize, as we were saying, 2 tickets to the Prom on July the 28th, when Joshua Bell is going to play the John Corigliano's Violin Concerto. If you are familiar with Sudoku already, you'll know that it's a puzzle in which you can put numbers into a grid so that every row, column and 3x3 box contains the digits 1 to 9. Each week this week we're asking you a musical question, and the answer to that is a number. Today we give you the last clue of this week's Sudoku. Just fill in that square which is lighting up now, and that'll take you a step closer to solving the Sudoku, which you can then find on our website, www.bbc.co.uk/proms, and you'll also find links and hints there, and all the questions from earlier in the week. When you complete the Sudoku, you must send it in before 4 o'clock tomorrow, and then you'll have a chance of winning those tickets to that prom. So here is today's question. How many strings does a standard Spanish guitar have? How many strings does a standard Spanish guitar have? And the correct number is the digit that goes into the square, which is lit up on the screen now, and that's going to help you solve the Sudoku. So, good luck with that. James and Catherine, are you Sudoku fans?
I've dabbled.
I'm more of a cryptic crossword person.
We were talking a little bit about careers advice. I mean, you're careers advisor at the Royal College of Music, James. And I mean, what do you actually do? What sort of advice do you find yourself giving the most to
Well,
students?
basically, I mean, I think any musician, any violinist who saw it tonight would probably like to do that for themselves, but there are 6,000 people in this hall and only space for one soloist. It's a 1 in 6,000 opportunity. So what does the violinist do instead?